So in this video we're actually updating our solar system from a totally outside solution where we couldn't shut the door to something that's more practicable for inside the vehicle as well.
I don't know where I've been, I don't know where I'm going.
To be honest, we don't have much drain on electricity. We're just running a compressor fridge and recharging our USB lights. So we're not that interested in actually fixing a permanent solution of a solar panel on the roof. When you're touring, you're just relying really on the split charger because you're driving every day and that suits us and it suits our needs and it's never been a problem. So this little setup is purely for if we go on site and we don't want to be paying the sometimes exorbitant prices that they're now charging to be on electrical hookup. So some of you guys out there might say, why don't we invest in one of these new power banks like the Eco River 2 or the Jackery? There's lots of them out there. Well, unfortunately, in a wee van such as our Berlingo, we don't need to be having something extra that we have to move around from one surface to another. Because the nature of it is it's got to be out so that you can plug things into it. And to be honest, we manage really well with the battery because the battery's in a cupboard and it's out of way, and then we've got separate sockets around the van that we can plug things into. There's no extra space needed. And as I said, we did that tour of Scotland and we were absolutely fine with the battery. If we were going to upgrade to anything, we would go for a lithium battery. But with our setup, we just don't need it. We have two solar panels. The small one is just 30 watts and we use that for trickle charging the batteries when we're not away. The double folding one is 100 watts and we use that if we ever go on site where we're off electrical hookup. This is our second solar charger. The first one was a cheap Chinese one and it really wasn't up to the job. And here it is in its original position at the back of the cupboard.
So, the plan is for our solar system, this is what we're using at the moment. And the only downside with this here is that when we're plugged in to the charging unit, it means that the cables are coming out through the door, which means you can't close the door when the solar panel's in use. So I've been looking around for some kind of an external socket that we could fasten somewhere on the bumper so that we could plug the solar panel into an external socket, which means that this we can get rid of and be able to close the door. So this is what I've come up with. It's called an SAE connector. So obviously a lot different to the usual solar panel connectors, and the idea is that we're going to fit it just onto the bottom of the bumper here, and then the idea is to run then the cables up underneath the van, up through the inside here, which we'll show you later, and then connect to the solar charger controller under there. So I'm just going to now drill a hole to be able to mount that. Not sure whether that'll be big enough. I have to get the bigger one in. Right. I'm just going to get the larger cone cutter. It's not quite big enough, that one. Right, slightly larger. Keep trying it as I do it.
Oh, that's it.
Touch more.
Yeah.
You've got that bit and then it goes.
Oh, right, okay.
Larger bit there.
Excellent.
And it has a dust cover, keep the water and everything out. Might just give it just another notch.
So at this point I'm helping Bernie by tightening the screws while he holds the nut behind with a pair of pliers to stop it spinning. He did use a small washer at the back too to stop the nut from pulling through, with it being a plastic bumper. I think that's about as tight as it's going to be.
Seems to be okay.
We just drop a little bit of tiny little bit of sealant in the middle. There's no gap at either end.
Yeah, I can do something. I'm not sure what I've got.
It's on. So here you can see both the old and the new systems in place.
So it's just a bit of black matte car spray paint and a technical brush.
We do like to make a tidy job and disguise anything that might stick out like a sore thumb.
It'll dry matte back, will that?
Excellent.
Just covers them a bit, doesn't it? So that'll dry matte, same as the plastic, so that'll just let that dry a bit.
So in order to protect the cables, Bernie threaded them through some split conduit. He threaded that through a hole that was already present in the subframe, and then that goes up through the hole that we made earlier for the waist. So here's the cable, you can just see it. So it comes up through that existing hole and then it's fastened up behind the waste pipe, and then that goes up. It is wired through a fuse box first and then onto the controller. All the way up and up through the top of the unit at the back there into where the solar controller unit is. We have now moved the solar charge controller that was originally towards the back of the vehicle. So what we've done now is we have moved it further forward. Because of the new way Bernie set up the sockets, it meant we could do that, and it's also meant that the two USB charge points that are on the charge controller are now totally practical for using inside the van. So this is where we've put it now. It's inside the cupboard under the sink, and we've actually fitted a light in there. Unfortunately it's a bit light outside, so I'm going to have to trigger it. There we go. So we've now moved the solar charge controller to the back here, and this means that we can use these two sockets, and I actually use it to plug the lights that go under the kitchen into. And also it means that we can actually read the state of the battery now, because before, when it was at the back of the van, if we needed to see how much charge we had in the battery, we'd have to raise the hatch and get a torch and have a look in. But now with this system, with the little it's a wardrobe light actually on an auto sensor. There you go, it's just popped off. And we got it from Amazon, and I'll put perhaps not a link, because these don't seem to be working for some reason, but I will put in the description which one it is that we've got. We bought it from Amazon. If you found this video interesting or even useful, there may be some other little tweaks we've done to Buddy that might be of interest to you, and you can find those by clicking the link to your right. Also, we'd appreciate it if you'd click like and subscribe. It does help our channel to grow a little, and it'd be nice to share the love around a bit. Thanks for watching The Other-Windsors.